Guys, don't panic. I'm gonna explain you what exactly happened yesterday and why Bitcoin actually dropped to the downside. And I can tell you it is not what you think. Let's talk also about some altcoins and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, and also activate the bell so that you will never miss out on these really important updates, especially on days like this. And let's directly jump into today's content here. So I want to start off here with the weekly chart. So we still have 1.5 days, a little bit more than 1.5 days to close this weekly candle in that support area that we are still trading in. And here again, a preferably scenario would be that we would close at least above $61,400 more or less, and from here see then next week a break of this downtrend where the price action is trapped for the last 7 weeks ish approximately. So we want to see that downtrend finally broken, just in case if Bitcoin would break this support area here on the weekly chart and we would head lower. I believe that the 20 weekly moving average will again act as support. We are not going to break this and gonna get another bounce from the $56,500 area back to the upside. You're asking yourself, what actually happened yesterday? Why did the market drop? It's really simple because I was watching it live when it happened. It was like 30 minutes, an hour later, actually. So the CDC yesterday in the US gave a message out that there is increased solar flare warnings, which could lead to massive blackouts all around the world. So what did people do? They fucking panicked. They panicked. They were like, shit, I need my money out. You know, I need it for that emergency. What happens if there's a huge blackout? If there's like an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse destroying infrastructure and stuff like that. I need cash. I don't want to be in a risk asset. So, and that's why we saw a massive sell-off yesterday. Just after that message actually got out, it just took a little bit to digest, you know, so like I said, 30 minutes to an hour, and then the market started to tank. Of course, we have also technical aspects that are contributing to that. First of all, this massive downward sloping trend line on the weekly chart. If we go then to the daily chart, also here, you can see that we are running into resistance up here from where we got rejected. Here, when we opened also today's candle, you know, yesterday's candle, here straight to the downside. Today's candle also not looking all too good on the daily chart. But again, as long as we are staying here above that yellow line of $60,565, there is still a chance of we going to bounce off there by tomorrow. I actually should also have the CME chart. Let me get the CME chart, guys. We are more or less around the same price where CME closed yesterday. There is no big difference, you know, so we are like kind of like here. So that it's like super mini CME gap right now. It's not worth actually to try to trade this, but until tomorrow can a lot happen and change. So I keep an eye on that for the time being. So I actually did not know where we closed on CME yesterday. That's why I wanted to check this quick. Here on this 4-hourly chart, the fair value gaps are still acting as a magnet overall. Here we almost closed the fair value gap that Bitcoin now tested multiple times, and we got almost to the bottom of it. So here's like a $200 gap left of this imbalance, and just because it's $200, it does not have to be closed anymore, you know. So this is a gap on this chart with a remaining $200 imbalance that you can consider to be done and dusted. We don't need to see here a rollover to close this completely and continue upwards. That does not mean that this is not going to happen, but by textbook definition, such a small imbalance doesn't need to be closed anymore. When we attempted to close it, got really close to it, and from there basically came a little bit back to the upside. This support resistance flip area, let's make it orange for the time being, is holding major significance right now because we got technically rejected from here. like I said, there were technicals aligning with that solar flare stuff, telling us that we are potentially heading down. But of course, nobody was expecting that we see something like this. I believe the next time the Bitcoin comes up that we actually break through this and start to trending higher. The only question is how low will we get before that is going to happen. So if Bitcoin rolls over and goes to the bottom of the imbalance, then I believe we could just step into the underlying support area with a wick and get immediately bought back up above 60K like the last time, and then start to consolidate for another attempt to break into higher prices here. From the indicators, they are already more or less telling us that the worst is over, because the stochastic is flatlining at the bottom again with a buy signal. MACD is also showing that the selling pressure is fading out, and the RSI is after flatlining here a little bit and trying to go here to the upside now, down but sideways. So there's no major tick direction, something where you see the RSI doing something like this, so this looks more like some sideways action, and within the next hour we might get a better picture how this is going to look like. On this 4-hourly chart, let me have a look here. No, this is not interesting for us today. The liquidation levels, that is something that we need to talk about. Remember that I told you yesterday there were some liquidation levels here from latecomers that were longing here, so they got all liquidated right now. We still have a little bit of long liquidations left here underneath, but this is also a heavy support area still. And that's why I believe we are not potentially testing here the 58,000 to what is this, $60,200 area. So first of all, we stepped on it already yesterday and got a bounce from there. And the other reason is that here to the upside is again more short liquidity stacked all the way up to $64,800 than what is below us. So, and afterwards, look here, there is not much to take out. Even if we get a move down here, see this as a lifetime opportunity to buy again that cheap if we get it. So if we do something like this, it will be a lifetime opportunity, and everybody that is long until like $50,000 will get liquidated. Then the long side is completely gone. All the interest is wiped out, and then we have to go up. There's no other way. Do I believe that this is going to happen? No, really unlikely. I believe it's highly unlikely that we see like 50K again or 52. 59 is in the cards right now, guys. It's in the cards because also here, this downwards trend line, if I draw it like this, is not broken. You see, this downwards trend line is not broken yet. Now, when we're going to the liquidation heat map, then we also see here on the monthly chart, there is not a lot of liquidity below us, exactly what I told you guys, but a lot of liquidity above us. Again, the carrot that is held in front of our eyes, and in the meantime, they're breaking it lower and lower until nobody believes in the carrot anymore that we're getting it. And then we are actually going to the upside. And something else I want to point out, we still have technically another 2 weeks before we get into the time window where the market is picking up again overall. So that is still 2 weeks away. So that's why be a little bit careful right now. Don't over leverage yourself. Remember, I told you guys that the other day. Don't over leverage yourself right now. Scale in slowly. And don't be a degen, in a market like this. In the best what you can actually do is being on the sideline right now with all your cash and watch the spectacle for the next 2 weeks, and then when you see, okay, 6 weeks are over, we are getting into the time window where we should normally pick up again, get slowly into it. If you do it now, it's also fine, but again, don't over leverage yourself. Here on this chart, you see basically more or less the trend line that I was just talking about. We are bouncing off that trend line for the time being, which is a good sign. As long as we are holding this, I would expect that we would see continuation to the upside as long as we are holding this. If we're losing this, but we find support in this underlying support area, also then I still believe that there is a high likelihood that we see a bounce here to the upside into the $67,000 level. Lose that line here with a retest. So for example, something like this, price goes up a little bit, breaks down, comes back up again, breaks another time, retests it, and then goes down, I think in that scenario, we will head into sub $60,000 over the next couple of days. Don't forget that if you use here any of these links, for example, BLOFIN is one of my new partners where you can actually get a ROLEX watch up to $7,500 in bonuses and 10% cash back. If you want to trade anywhere, go to BLOFIN or to BYBIT. Look here at BLOFIN. It depends on the trading volume, what you get, so if you trade here with like $100 million, they will give you a ROLEX to $7,500 and 10% of cash back. Is 100 million a lot in trading volume? It sounds like a lot, but it's actually not. Imagine you have $50,000, you trade on 20x, that is $1 million worth of trading volume. So you do this now 100 times, there you have your ROLEX. Of course, the bigger the amount that you have available, the lower the leverage that you need to get to that amount. But if you cannot get the 20 million, it's pretty easy, even if you have like $5,000 or $10,000. For that, they give you, for example, also an iPhone 15 Pro Max that you can get, and do whatever you want with that. So they have some cool prices here, depending on the trading volume. But you see, this is only available from today for the next 2 weeks. That is the time frame that this counts. So take advantage of that while it's lasting. So you find the link, like I said, in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. Otherwise, you can still use BYBIT, get $30,000 in bonuses there. Yeah, these are the two main exchanges that I'm using right now. I have actually also a trade running here on BLOFIN. You see it's low leverage right now and only with $1,000. I'm gonna scale this up also in terms of margin when I see a proper move from Bitcoin back to the upside. Because right now this could also be here a bear pennant or bear flag, however you want to see that. So and if this breaks lower, that could bring us here to $57,680 approximately. So you see why I said you should be careful, So you see here my liquidation price would be $56,000, so like $1,000 below that. That's why I'm not really worried about it. And I can tell you, if we go here to like 58, 59, I will scale more into this position because I believe somewhere between 58 and 59, we're going to bounce back to the upside if we're actually going to break lower. Also on BYBIT, still my ton trade, still nice in profits here, 91%. Yesterday I was almost 200% up before we dropped. You can see it also here, that big spike to the upside, but it's fine, guys, so I'm not worried about that. At some point it's going to break to the upside into my target here of $8. Now, talking about altcoins, the total market cap is, of course, also seeing the same rejection that we see in Bitcoin. Here, same thing. I want that the total market cap is coming back up into the $2.25 trillion level. Maximum by next week, because we need that break to the upside to see a major recovery across the market. For now, we are seeing here a massive rejection from this trend line, and we can only hope that by weekends, basically tomorrow, that this is turning around and going back to the upside, either in the current candle before we close the weekly or in the newly opened candle that we get tomorrow. When we're looking at the USDT dominance, then here we are again above the 5% level. Remember, guys, I told you every time when we are above the 5% level, it is bad for Bitcoin. Let's see again the same thing again. Here also, we are right now testing this upward sloping trend line, which is acting as resistance. If this remains resistance, then we should see a rejection by tomorrow, also below 5% again, which will lead to a small relief across the market. And when we're looking at Ethereum is in a really bad shape right now. Remember, guys, I told you yesterday I did not like how we are looking on Ethereum. Now you see why. We lost this major support area here that was holding us afloat. We are below it right now. So if we move into lower prices, let me actually have a look here. So we lost here major areas already on the VPVR. So the next area of interest on Ethereum that will give us support if we are now not seeing a recovery over the next 24 hours. The next bigger area is down here from $2,400 to $2,700 approximately that we're going to run into. So lose that area and we go all the way down to $2,200 approximately. So nobody wants to see these prices if you're already in a position. But if you have spare money on the side, this will be, again, once in a life opportunity to buy Ethereum that cheap. And I also going to plan to load up a lot of Ethereum if we actually drop here another 30% to the downside. Again, highly unlikely right now, but I just want to show you all the scenarios that can play out. Decides to turn around over the next 2 days. I think here $3,040 is the first resistance that we need to overcome. And then the other levels, you know already, 3,150, 3,220, 3,350. These are the levels to watch. Here on the daily chart, we see that we are still getting rejected from the EMA ribbon. Remember, I said to you guys yesterday, we need in the next 24 hours to get above that. If that's not going to happen, we most likely continue to go to the downside, especially with that bear pennant that was forming here that I was pointing out yesterday. And now it actually start breaking to the downside. The only positive thing here is that the stochastic is about to bottom out on the daily, so which could mean that this here is just a fake out of that bear pennant. We are still within the falling wedge, so nothing has changed here. And technically, we could come down into that support area here on the daily to $2,700 and get a bounce off that downward sloping support within the falling wedge before we get then a proper breakout to the upside in direction of $3,600 and $4,000. Solana is also still holding on to our second buy zone, but also really close to break below that. If we can stay within that zone for the next 50 minutes approximately, then also here, I believe that we're going to get a bounce to the upside because we have already, no, we don't have yet a bullish divergence, but there might be one forming right now. So here for the next 5 hours, I want that we get here at least above $147 again. If we get that, then you could consider to enter here with a little bit of money. Of course, not everything. Take like 10%, 15% of the position that you want to build, and then keep laddering in the higher we go. I would stop laddering in at $155, $156, what I also said yesterday. That's where I would stop buying Solana. So if we lose that support area, and then the next support area is around $135 to $140. From there, definitely I expect that we see a bounce back to $146 approximately. And this will be also a really nice opportunity to load up on Solana. You should put some limit orders into that area. Another coin that I'm still watching is PENDLE. PENDLE also lost now this support box here. I still leave it as a support box because technically we could still come back today and reclaim that. If we don't do that, then I have to turn it red into resistance. But here you also see the overall selling pressure is already out. So here we are printing smaller and smaller lighter red candles. The stochastic is flatlining. The RSI starts to see an uptick. So here is a massive move already brewing for PENDLE. I might start to position myself here after today's daily close, because I believe the breakout that's coming here might be quite volatile and could give us like a 30-40% move over a 48 to 36 hour period. So here I might actually jump the gun on this one a little bit, just because from what I'm seeing here happening. When we're looking at Fetch is following our trajectory that we have drawn in. We are back at $2.70. Again, it's a good area to buy. Just wait for the next 50 minutes that we close above that and see what's happening over the next hour afterwards, because here's still some selling pressure going on the stochastic RSI, and on the RSI there's still some downwards momentum. Just to wait that this is subsiding and then enter around the $2.17 level and trade this into $2.80. Then ICP, I jumped yesterday a little bit too early here into it. I jumped in like at, basically here almost at the top at $12.40. It happens sometimes. We are still in this massive falling wedge here. There is a risk that we drop all the way down. So here this would be then a deviation. Then we could still drop to like $11.50 approximately before we see hopefully a break out of it. Here again, the indicators all telling me we're oversold. We should get a move soon here to the upside. So I'm basically just hanging in there and wait for this move to be happening. I will cut this trade if we start losing here $11.30 approximately, because here's at $11.40 is still some support, and I want to have a little bit below that my stop loss, even at $11.30 is my stop loss where I'm going to cut this trade if I have to. Then I think it's the last one. No, so near also in that upper support area. That was acting as massive resistance in the past, so I should make this potentially orange because there's still a support and resistance area. If we lose it, so then we might confirm this as resistance. And here on the daily chart, we're not looking all too good right now because the RSI is quite high up, the stochastic RSI. The MACD is kind of indecisive, and the RSI is also going sideways with a downwards tick. So here, I would be really, really careful right now. Of course, if we see a break of $7.65 on the 4-hourly chart and some follow through, then I would enter this. Otherwise, if you're looking for an entry on near right now, I would consider actually lower, $6. Around the $6 mark would be where I would consider to enter if we continue this downwards trajectory. So just let me make this green here. So if the market keeps tanking, then this is the area where I would go long and also get some spot exposure to near. Otherwise, if we are holding here the support and resistance flip zone, then here I gonna nibble a little bit with 10%. If we go lower, I DCA down into a big position, and if we start going above the support and resistance area, then also here I start scaling in. Then the last one is RNDR. So here you see, I was yesterday pointing out that we have a rising wedge here. This is breaking down right now as expected. I don't believe that we are going to the target of $9.60 approximately. I don't see that because of the underlying support that we have basically in front of us, and the 4-hourly chart is about to bottom out here. Also, again, just wait for the next 5 hours to get a clear signal, and if we are still in this range where we are at right now, I would consider opening a position. I might actually do that and share it with you guys on my Telegram and also in my Discord if I open a position here on BLOFIN and also on BYBIT. So again, check out these links there in the description if you don't have an account with either of these exchanges yet. And that's it already for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you then again tomorrow.